Guns. Some people love them, some people hate them. Some people think gun control laws need to be stricter to help reduce the amount of gun violence in our country. But other people see these laws as ways to prohibit law-abiding citizens from protecting themselves and their families. I'm Whitney Carey, and I want to take a couple minutes today just to talk about gun control, gun safety, responsibilities as a gun owner, and different types of firearms that are available today. So what is gun control? Well, gun control is the idea that restricting access to certain types of firearms will help prevent gun-related violence in our country. But does it actually work? Well, that's a little more of a complicated answer. Gun control can work, and there's also times when gun control does not work. For example, the New York Daily News published an article on January 1st of this year about the city of Chicago, Illinois. In that study, they found that there were 762 gun-related deaths in the city alone. This number is higher than the number of gun-related homicides in the cities of New York City and Los Angeles combined. The city of Chicago is also known for having some of the strictest gun control laws in the country. Sales of firearms, assault-type weapons, and high-capacity magazines are banned in the city. Another reason that gun control laws cannot work is because criminals don't follow the law. They will go and purchase weapons and other items illegally to avoid background checks and other laws and regulations that are already in place. I read an article by Richard Gonzalez about seizures of illegal weapons in the state of California. In his article, he wrote that in 2012, the state of California seized nearly 2,000 illegally owned weapons. So it seems to me that the problem is more with people not following these laws than the actual laws themselves. Our politicians too, of course, have done what they think is necessary to help reduce the amount of gun violence in our country. For example, they instituted the federal assault rifle ban of 1994. The Washington Times wrote an article about this ban and the results of it. The federal assault rifle ban of 1994 banned 18 different types of firearms, most of which were foreign weapons that were already banned from being imported into the country in 1989. The ban also affected magazines. A magazine that held more than 10 rounds of ammunition was also banned and considered to be illegal. While through the course of the ban, crime rates did drop, the actual number of federally prosecuted gun cases increased by 68%. Towards the end of the ban in 2004, the National Institute of Justice conducted their own research and found that overall the ban was pretty much ineffectual, and Congress did not renew it in 2004. Now that we've talked a little bit about gun control, let's take a look at gun safety. The NSSF, or the National Shooting Sports Foundation's website, talks about gun safety. The biggest part of gun safety they talked about is education. They believe that everyone should be educated in regards to firearms and how they can be used. I personally believe that if you live in a home with a firearm or you're around firearms regularly, you should know the effects of guns and how to handle them properly. My husband has been a police officer since 2005, and in the 10 years we've been together, he has taught me a lot about guns, and we've been able to teach our children about the safety of guns. We have taught our children how to properly handle a firearm, that we respect firearms, and that they are not guns, unlike the Nerf guns that they do play with. Our children also know that you do not touch or handle firearms without permission and without an adult present. And while gun safety is very important, another important aspect is the responsibilities of gun owners. In an article I read called Extreme Risk, the author talked about the responsibilities of gun owners. He talked about how important it was to always purchase your firearms legally and to follow the laws and regulations in your state. Firearms should also be stored unloaded in a safe and secure place like a gun cabinet or gun safe. Ammunition to these guns should also be kept in a different place to help prevent any possible incidents. And lastly, as a firearms owner, you should be responsible for knowing how to handle your firearm and what your firearm is intended for. One of the biggest problems that we have with guns is we don't understand them. And as humans, it's natural when we don't understand something to either fear the item or reject the idea completely. So to help with that, I brought in a couple examples here of different firearms that we keep in our home. The first item that we keep in our home is a pistol. It's relatively small and easy to conceal. This type of weapon can be used in home defense as well as for concealed carry. The second type of firearm that we have is a hunting rifle. Just like it sounds, it's used for hunting. It's quite a bit bigger than a pistol and cannot be easily concealed. This hunting rifle in particular can only be shot once before it has to be reloaded. The last particular firearm that we own is a semi-automatic rifle. This rifle, like the hunting rifle, can be used for hunting. It's also used in competitive shooting. The semi-automatic rifle can also shoot one round of ammunition at a time, or it can also shoot multiple rounds in a short period of time before having to be reloaded. So in conclusion, being a gun owner and being responsible are very important. One of the best things you can do is educate yourself, as education is key to protecting yourself and others. As a responsible gun owner, you should follow all laws and make sure that you register your firearms. I thank you so much for your time today, and remember, a gun is only as dangerous as the person holding it. Thank you.